How to enable live captions in Zoom using Otter.ai. To enable live captioning in Zoom using Otter's AI-powered voice-to-text service in an open Zoom meeting, first click the AI. To enable live captioning in Zoom using Otter's AI-powered voice-to-text service in an open Zoom meeting, first click the On Otter.ai drop-down menu and select View Stream on Otter.ai. This will bring up a new window in your primary browser. A sign-up window will appear in the center of your screen. To get to the meeting text, simply exit out of the sign-up window. You do not need to sign up for or log into an Otter account to use this service. Exiting out of the sign-up window will bring a full screen view of the Zoom meeting's text in your browser window. To enable a side screen view of the text adjacent to the Zoom meeting window, click the sidebar button here. You will then need to tab over to the Zoom window to return to viewing the Zoom meeting. If your Zoom meeting window is either maximized or set to full screen, click the floating window button in the top right of your screen to make the Zoom window a floating window. If you are not satisfied with the window layout of the Zoom meeting, now that the window is floating, you may reposition the window by clicking and dragging the white space atop the Zoom meeting window, and you may resize the window by hovering your mouse over any edge or corner of the Zoom meeting window, making sure to wait for the cursor to change from an arrow cursor to a resizing cursor, and then clicking and dragging the window edges to the size of your liking. As a reminder, you can switch between speaker view and gallery view by clicking the button of the same name in the top right corner of the Zoom video viewing screen. Please note that during a live meeting, the Otter side window captioning will auto-scroll only so long as the user does not manually scroll in that window. If, for example, you decide to scroll back to an earlier part of the meeting, in order to re-enable auto-scrolling, you will have to exit out of the Otter windows and reopen them as was done at the beginning of this video. Thanks for watching this tutorial and enjoy the meeting. Hi, I'm Mike Sinello, and I'll be your Zoom meeting administrator for tonight's Town Council meeting. The meeting will begin at 7 p.m. Eastern. Before the meeting starts, I put together this brief instructional video to help you get better acquainted with the Zoom meetings platform and how this virtual Town Council meeting will operate. Before we get started, we would like to kindly ask non-council participants to please keep your audio and video muted throughout unless called upon. As you are brought into the meeting, for example, from a waiting room, you will have the momentary ability to unmute your video. We kindly ask that you refrain from doing so, and each participant's video will be manually muted upon entry one at a time. If you do not want to see non-video participants, hover your mouse over a non-video participant's video image. Click these three dots highlighted in blue and select Hide Non-Video Participants. If you want to see all the councilmen at the same time, rather than focusing only on the councilman who is speaking, select Gallery View in the top right corner of the viewing panel. If you would like to participate in public comment, you must first raise your hand, and you'll be added to the list of public comment participants on a first-come, first-served basis until the meeting's commencement at 7 p.m. When we say raise your hand, we don't mean literally hold your hand up to the camera. To raise your hand, first make sure the Participants panel is open at the right of your screen. You can open the Participants panel by clicking the Participants icon at the bottom of your screen. Once the Participants panel is open, to raise your hand, select Raise Hand in the bottom right corner of the Participants panel. For telephone-only participants, to raise your hand, press star 9 on your telephone touchpad. I will be taking names for public comment as soon as this video finishes, and at the mayor's request, we'll be calling on participants for public comment on a first-come, first-served basis. Once you're called upon, I will send out a request to unmute yourself, as you will be self-muted upon entry. To unmute yourself in desktop, click the unmute icon in the bottom left corner of the viewing panel, and which looks like a microphone with the red slash through it, or simply select unmute in the request message. For telephone-only participants, press star 6 to mute or unmute yourself. Once you've been unmuted for public comment, You'll have 5 minutes to address the council. Time will be kept by the acting sergeant at arms, who will alert you when you have 1 minute left. When your time has expired, the sergeant at arms will let you know, and I will then mute you at either the mayor's request or at the request of the sergeant at arms. I will only act upon their instruction throughout the meeting and will neither mute nor unmute except upon entry any participant otherwise. For the record, as the Zoom meeting administrator, I will not be an active participant in the meeting. This means once the meeting is started, my camera and microphone will be muted unless otherwise called upon by either the mayor or the sergeant at arms. The final request before this video ends is to please be aware of your surroundings. Please be aware of background noise, such as dogs barking, children yelling, or a nearby fan blowing, visible background activity, and potential feedback from your microphone picking up the sound from your speakers. It is for this reason that we highly recommend the use of headphones. Thank you for watching. The meeting will begin at 7 p.m., and if you would like to participate in public comment, raise your hands now and do not put them down until called upon for public comment after the meeting has commenced. All right. So I don't see any hands raised just yet. Katie, can I get co-host or host?
Pete's here. Yeah, sure. Where are you? Hold on. Did you speak with Walter about how to get in and out of the,
Executive session?
yeah, that's it.
I can right now if as soon as we get him
There you
unmuted.
go. Okay. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. You're on mute.
Yep, just asked her to unmute.
Thank you. Hi, all.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Bear.
Asking Mike to unmute. All right, we can get
Bear.
Walter Bear.
I have Katie, Chris, Michael,
Hi, everybody.
Walter, Thomas Mazzito. Am I missing anybody?
Where's Tommy?
Doug.
Tom is, well, on my screen is at the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there. Doug should be here at some
Oh, this is
point.
Mary
I think.
Jane. Okay.
I think so.
I don't see Doug Ossipow. Doug Ossipow. Doug Skelly.
That's the one.
I don't see him.
No, I said he should be.
Yeah, he said he was going to be calling in.
Right.
He's in Florida. He's not calling in.
Hi, Mary Jane.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good. Cold.
Oh, good Lord, I just got off that van site. I just got
Oh, did you?
oh my God, it's like unbelievable. Like, I don't know, like
Just opened up.
it just for the 65 and older, like
Yeah.
you got the notice and whammo, I got an appointment in New Fairfield. Eric just got one in Kent
Good.
for coming up the next couple of weeks, but to go through all the hoopla is phenomenal.
Well,
But
did you pre-register? Well, you still have to fill it out even if you
you
pre-register.
still have to fill it out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So,
I think that's what caused a lot of problems for other seniors. Whoops, 7 o'clock.
yeah, I think
Not
so,
us,
too.
Mary Jane. We're not.
All right, so I have just about 7 o'clock here. So folks, if this is your last call to get your hands raised, if you want to participate in public comment right now, I don't see any hands raised. So right now there's nobody on the list.
Thank you, Mike. And before we move on to, and you may have done it before I logged in, I know you did a wonderful kind of FAQ on our closed captioning now.
Yep.
Could you talk a little bit about that? So those that need closed captioning could maybe get onto that.
Well, let me throw this at you, Pete. If I talk about it and there's somebody that's hearing impaired, there's no way they're going to be able to hear
That's
me.
true.
So would
That's
you like
true.
me to just, it takes 2 minutes. Would you like me to run the 2-minute tutorial again?
Absolutely. Thank
All
you.
right. Give me 1 second and we'll get that brought back up for everybody. Okay, let me get this.
Is this part of the official meeting or is this just the pre-meeting?
Pre-meeting.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Live captions in Zoom using Otter.ai. To enable live captioning in Zoom using Otter's AI-powered voice-to-text service in an open Zoom meeting, first click the On Otter.ai drop-down menu and select View Stream on Otter.ai. This will bring up a new window in your primary browser. A sign-up window will appear in the center of your screen. To get to the meeting text, simply exit out of the sign-up window. You do not need to sign up for or log into an Otter account to use this service. Exiting out of the sign up window will bring a full screen view of the Zoom meeting's text in your browser window. To enable a side screen view of the text adjacent to the Zoom meeting window, click the sidebar button here. You will then need to tab over to the Zoom window to return to viewing the Zoom meeting. If your Zoom meeting window is either maximized or set to full screen, click the floating window button in the top right of your screen to make the Zoom window a floating window. If you are not satisfied with the window layout of the Zoom meeting, now that the window is floating, you may reposition the window by clicking and dragging the white space atop the Zoom meeting window. And you may resize the window by hovering your mouse over any edge or corner of the Zoom meeting window, making sure to wait for the cursor to change from an arrow cursor to a resizing cursor, and then clicking and dragging the window edges to the size of your liking. As a reminder, you can switch between speaker view and gallery view by clicking the button of the same name in the top right corner of the Zoom video viewing screen. Please note that during a live meeting, the Otter side window captioning will auto scroll only so long as the user does not manually scroll in that window. If, for example, you decide to scroll back to an earlier part of the meeting, in order to re-enable auto scrolling, you will have to exit out of the Otter windows and reopen them as was done at the beginning of this video. Thanks for watching this tutorial and enjoy the meeting. All right. So
Thank you, Mike.
I got nobody else on the list right now, so I guess
Okay,
Here's
let's
me.
do the pledge. Can we say the pledge, please? Katie, can you lead us in the pledge?
Of course. I pledge allegiance to
Allegiance
the
to
flag
the
flag
of the
of the
United
United
States,
States of America,
to the
to
republic
the republic
which it
for which
stands,
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and
and
justice for
justice
all.
for all.
We can have a moment of silence for the men and the women in the armed forces and our first responders. Thank you.
Pete, I don't know if Joe got his hand up in time, but we do have Joe Q for public comment with his hand raised.
Yep. We can open it up.
All right. Joe is the only one I see here. So Joe, here you go.
Good evening, Joe Quarant, 87 Boardman Road. Thank you, Mike, for the tutorial. It was difficult for me to understand, as well as some people in the community that are hearing impaired. Is there a chance that, for all intents and purposes, that we have maybe a different way to educate the community on how to use that? Because I didn't follow it. I kind of lost you in the first sentence, to be honest with you. And that's all I really want to say. I'm sorry. I was waiting for a response, but I know I'm not supposed to get one. So yeah, that's my comment. I had difficulty understanding the tutorial. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Okay. All right. So moving on next is we did the public comment and the update on the closed caption. We kind of already did that. With Mike, and I'd like to thank Mike Sinella. I'd like to thank our IT director, David Watson, and Pat Hembrook, who all worked to make sure that we got this on this platform and all our other platforms that we have when we're doing these Zoom calls for all of our boards and commissions. I'd also like to thank, I attended the Board of Education meetings, and I appreciate them giving the Board of Ed the input so that they could make those changes right at their initial input when they were bringing forward their budget hearings. So I appreciate the heads up to them, so they were able to do that. Katie?
Mayor, thank you. Yes, it was what Mike said. Obviously, if you're familiar with Otter, you knew about it, but I would like to suggest that maybe we either put what he recorded or just a descriptive item up on social media, maybe on the town website. I see that Jennifer, well, she was here. It was quick. And if you're not familiar with Otter, I guess, you'd have to try it out. So could we do that maybe and
Yep.
get something up this
So-
week?
Yep, so what we're gonna
Great.
do tomorrow is put that on the town sites and also on the town webpage as well.
Great, thank you. And thanks to everybody who worked on it to get it done in a week.
Any other discussion on this, on the closed caption? Okay, Katie?
Okay,
move
so
on?
we'll move to item 4, which is our consent agenda. I move to accept items 4A, prior minutes, B, tax collector, C, donation to Parks and Rec, and D, Mayor's Office accepting a donation to pay for the closed captioning from Goat Boy Soaps and Bank Street Investments.
Second.
Dave?
Yeah, well, one question regarding, at the last meeting, I requested to be put on the agenda, the January 11th, Town Council and Board of Finance meeting. We could have those minutes put on for our approval as the Board of Finance has approved it on their part.
Did you get those minutes, Dave, from Pat?
Yeah, we got those a while ago.
Okay, we'll add that to the agenda, Katie.
Okay, well, first, could I have, is there any more discussion? Can we vote
Yep.
on this item
Yeah,
4?
Mary
Like-
Jane?
I have a question. So on, so going forward, first of all, what is the cost for this? Do we know, do you know what the flat out cost would be for the year or
Yep,
how we?
for all of these platforms, it's approximately $500
And how, is that like per year?
per
or-
year. Yep, for the year.
Okay, and is that gonna cover all our elected boards and so
Yes.
that everybody's gonna be doing that?
Yep.
Okay. So going forward, I mean, I think it's lovely that people donated money for this, but it looks like this should be an item that should be on our budget going forward, either out of the mayor's budget or whatever budget you decide you want to take it out of. So I would think that, you know, well, it's nice that people donated, but maybe that money would be better used towards the cricket thing for the Park and Rec or something instead of using it now. Just seems weird that we're taking private donations for something that's really a town expense. Just my thought.
Thank you, Mary Jane.
Yeah, yeah, I actually had a concern too, because that's part of an operating budget versus a capital budget. And I was just wondering, quite frankly, if we can do it. So I was just gonna, if we could ask Mr. DeBella if that's possible, and to use that for in our operating budget versus a capital item.
Well, first, Dave, I'll let if Randy's on there, I don't see, there he is. I'll let him answer it, but depending on where we would place this in the budget, because right now it's not a budgeted item. This is a donation that would be receptive. Moving forward, when we would put it in the town budget for next year, then it could either be an operating or a capital item. But Randy, go ahead.
That's exactly right. You're getting a donation. Let's put it that way. Let's start with that. So unless it's going to be used for a specific purpose that the donor requests, the donor would have to be notified that it's going to essentially come into as a revenue, and it's going to have to be appropriating to whatever use.
Okay, no, questions answered. Questions answered. Thank you.
Mayor, Jennifer Hausch has her hand up. I don't know if it's to discuss this, but could you, Mike, somebody let her in?
Jennifer, you should be unmuted.
Hi everybody, it's Jennifer here. I just want to say hello, and I really appreciate that everybody is trying to figure out the closed captioning situation. You're not alone. I'm still trying to figure it out as well. I just know it's available. But I'm definitely looking forward to trying to get this figured out. So I want everybody to know I'm here. Thank you.
Glad you're here.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Great to hear from you, Jennifer.
Jennifer, can I get your
Thank
last name
you.
and address?
Jennifer, can I get your address, please?
Yeah, should I put my address in public? Here with my daughter. She's translating the conversation for me.
Mhm.
My address is 25 Canterbury Orange.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Jennifer.
Welcome.
Okay, so any other discussion?
Nope, and just
Yeah,
thank you to the, thank you to the
I was going to
donors.
do that. I just wanted to wait for everybody to, the Parks and Rec Department would like to thank Don Clady for the donation of the Evans drum set for the music classes. And they wanted to let everybody know that. So if we don't have any more, then Mayor, can we have a vote?
Any other discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to amend the rules to add an item for Dave, what is it? The Board of Finance and Council joint meeting minutes of,
Oh, no, I withdraw that and we'll put them on the next one so that everybody has a chance to review them, but thank you very much.
oh, okay.
Thanks,
Forget what I
David.
said. All right. Moving on to item 5. Now, we have 11 boards and commissions with people. So rather than voting on them separately, unless somebody wants to say that they want that, I was going to read them all along and then we can discuss.
Please do.
I would just ask that you take the housing partnership out and then if we can vote on that separately.
Okay, housing partnership out. All right, anything else? All right. So my motion is to accept and approve the following appointments and reappointments. Arts Commission, the appointment of Betty Lou Mandler and Joanne Lillis from February 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2024. It's a 4-year term. The Building Code Board of Appeals, appointment of Marcel Grenier, term of February 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2024. Candlewood Lake Authority, the appointment of Steve Kluge, term of February 1st, 2021, January 31st, 2024. These are all 4-year terms, as you can see. The Ethics Commission, appointment of James Tupko as an alternate, term of February 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2022. Farmland and Forest Preservation Committee, appointment of Steve Kleppen, February 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2024. Appointment of Jeremy Schultz as an alternate, February 1st, 2021, January 31st, 2024. Housatonic River Commission, appointment of Robert Gambino, February 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2024. We'll skip over housing for now. Lanesville Fire Substation Trustee, appointment of Robert Webster, February 1st, 2021, I think. This says 2020 on here, Mayor, but it should be 2021, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. To January 31st, 2022. Library Board of Trustees, appointment of Joyce Hermanat, February 1st, 2020 to January 31st, 2024. The same term for Helen Cherney and Rosemary Kelly. Those 3, the Library Board of Trustees. Municipal Citation Hearing Officer, appointment of Ramona Tito, February 1st. This also says 2020, but I believe that these all should be 2021 here. Till January 31st, 2022. Now this is a 2-year term, Mayor. Do you think it's a typo? I don't have it in front of me, but I guess we can come back if it's a clerical error and make that statement next meeting.
I will follow up and find out.
Okay, so it's Ramona Tito. And the Pension Committee, appointment of Tom Pilla, February 1st, again, 2020 through January 31st, 2024. Walter O'Connor, February 1st, 2020 through January 31st of 2022. Frank Wargo, February 1st, 2020 through January 31st, 2022. And again, we will check these.
Yep.
Okay, so there are 10 of them, and the last one, Mary Jane, did you want me to make, I don't want to make a whole new item, let's just talk about it separately?
Yeah, just do the name.
Okay, housing partnership.
Katie, just a question. You said Rosemary Kelly was to 2022 or 2024?
Rosemary Kelly, February 1st, 2020 through January 31st, 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so housing partnership, we have Leonardo Gio, February 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2024. The same term for the appointment of Jeff McBriarty and Ivana Butera to the same, the housing partnership. That's all 11. Do I have a second?
So how are we
Second.
going to vote on these separately? Because there's one person that I'm opposed to on the housing partnership. So how are you going to break that out? So, because you didn't really break it out, right?
I just asked you if you wanted me to break it out or just you wanted just to talk about it separately. Okay, so let's excise the housing partnership from my motion, please. There are 10 that I read. And do I have a second on those
Second.
10, which excludes?
Second.
Thank you,
Okay.
Tom.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
And
Thank you.
we will check on these dates and confirm or adjust. The next, then I will bring again housing partnership, which is the February 1st, 2020 run through January 31st of 2024 for Leo Gio, Jeff McBriarty, Ivana Butera.
Can
Second.
we vote? Wait, can we vote on those names separately? So, like vote on Leo first, and then Jeff, and then Ivana. Because otherwise it doesn't give me the option to not vote on.
So you just want to not vote for somebody.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's start again. So the housing partnership, Leo Gio.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Jeffrey McBriarty,
Second.
February
Second.
1st, 2021, January 31st, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Thank you.
Opposed.
Okay.
Oh, is just one opposed?
2.
Two, okay.
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 Katie?
Ivana Butera, February 1st, 2021, January 31st, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Okay. So all of those are handled, all 11. Item number 6, COVID-19 update from Dr. Jeremy Levin.
Mike, could you unmute Dr. Levin, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. I have a relatively brief report this evening, but I would like to emphasize one aspect of it. At the end of this report, I'd like to make a plea, and I'll make it specifically related to our town and Connecticut. There is good news so far in COVID. We've got about 60 doses have been distributed around the country. We have about 42 million of that has been actually put into an arm. And right now we're putting that in at about 1.5 million per day. So it means that roughly 32 million Americans have had the first dose and another 10, total of 10 have had both doses. So we're beginning to see a change. The real impact of this is now also becoming clear. Some studies done in early December show that in nursing homes, really you see a 50% drop once you vaccinate in deaths. It's quite striking. At the same time, we're seeing variants cropping up, variants from the UK, variants from South Africa, and it transpires that the spread of some of these is lightning fast. The UK variant, for example, is spreading at an enormous rate in the United States at this stage. We are seeing a significant preponderance of the spread. It's simply taking over in some areas from what we can see. We know this because people are testing for it now, not 100% perfect, but they certainly are testing for it. A little bit worrying in some instances because certainly for the UK, because AstraZeneca, it has been shown that it's ineffective, 47% effective in the South African variant. So the emphasis I want to put here is there's good news that we're getting a lot of dosing is happening. It's ramping up. I said 1.5 million doses per day right now, but roughly a week ago, it was about 1.25. So we are going up the curve. What I do want to emphasize, though, and this is my plea, that it's absolutely essential that we get full vaccination or vaccination as far as we can because of the variants. Now, why do I bring to your attention? As we go into our vaccination process, these variants are part of the equation. And what do I mean by that? Well, these variants occur only when the virus replicates, when it divides itself. And when it does that, a mutation occurs. And the more time it's able to do that, the more variants you get. And it's a natural process in viruses. The more it replicates, the more variants you might get. And essentially it mutates. That is the expected function of a virus. Now, because the pandemic has been so far out of control, that's why we're seeing so many of these variants crop up, because the virus is able to mutate as it replicates. So if you stop that replication by vaccinating, by giving the virus nowhere to run, you stop the virus dead. No variants get created. It's not just about protecting yourself. It's about protecting the whole of society against new variants. You basically, so just to say that again, so to really hammer it home, it's essential that we vaccinate, not just for ourselves, but so that we can stop this virus replicating, so that you can, and when it replicates, you can stop it by, therefore, all of the variants developing. And as a consequence of that, the risk goes down. So it's not just about yourself, it's about the whole community. And to draw this to your attention, and where we know that this is playing a very significant role, is perhaps the biggest experiment is being run right now in Israel, where everybody over the age of, pretty much everybody over the age of 60 has been vaccinated. But the younger groups are now sort of dropping off and saying, well, I'm not affected by it, so I'm not going to get vaccinated. So you're now seeing vaccination rates dropping. This is bad news, because as they're doing it, so Israel is seeing variants crop up. And the real problem with them is you're basically allowing the virus to replicate in the younger groups. And when they replicate in the younger groups, so the mutation occurs. Now, right now, we've got good news on that. Good news is that the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines are effective against the current variants. But when we vaccinate ourselves in the future, and we don't have the whole population really taking note of this, the danger is that you'll have variants that crop up which are not just spreading faster, but are more dangerous. And so my plea, Mr. Mayor and Council, is that we need to really make sure that the population that we deal with here in New Milford, and as far as we can, our families and others, understand vaccination's not just about ourselves, it's about everybody around us. You've got to stop the replication. Give the virus nowhere to run, nowhere to vaccinate, nowhere to mutate. And so that's the message I wanted to give this evening. On the other hand, as I say to you, we are progressing. We are having more people vaccinated. And I simply want to make sure that as we do so, the population as a whole understand how important this is. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Levin. Any questions for Dr. Levin?
I would just say for me, Dr. Levin, just thank you. I think what you just stated here is you stated it better and clearer than I've heard it anywhere else. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Mary Jane?
So, Dr. Levin, I just wanted to ask you, I've been hearing some negative things about the AstraZeneca vaccine, about the efficacy. So could you address that a little bit?
Yes, AstraZeneca ran a trial in South Africa and found that it only had a 47% efficacy. The South Africans decided that they would abandon the trial and that it was no longer to be used in South Africa. That's not the case of what they see in Great Britain, but Mary Jane, that's exactly the problem with these variants. If you can't stop a variant, it will replicate and it will change again. And then you've got a replicant on a replicant, you've got a mutant on a mutant. Mm-hmm. So the faster the British and others who are using that vaccine can vaccinate their population, the less likely it is that the South African variant will spread and be given the opportunity to mutate further. So it simply won't get into the population because there's not enough people for it to infect. We also know that in the good news, as I said, though, is the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines are effective against it. So those are the ones that we're currently using here.
Okay, so AstraZeneca we haven't approved that yet, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and Johnson & Johnson?
Yep, that's good news. They're seeking emergency use approval. As I said a couple of weeks ago, they had prepared for this. They have a huge stockpile of vaccine. The data on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it's a once-a-day vaccine, a one-time vaccination. That data shows that while it doesn't look like it prevents at the same level as Moderna and Pfizer, which is 95% prevention, it has between 60 and 70% prevention. It does dramatically reduce the amount of illness if you do get the disorder, which is pretty good. So if you do get it, you will, based on the evidence that we have to date, you will be far less sick and far less likely to succumb to the virus than any other previous than you would previously without a vaccine. So it's very good news in that regard.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Levin? As always, Dr. Levin, we really appreciate these updates to keep not only the council, but our residents informed. So thank you again very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, mayor's remarks, Mayor?
Thank you, Katie. First, as we do at every town council meeting, we give an update on the COVID numbers as they are today. As we say each and every time, these are just the total numbers since the states track them. So it's currently the state of Connecticut is at 247,681. Litchfield County is at 9,595, which is up 164 from Friday. Hospitalizations are at 14, which are down 2 from Friday. And New Milford is at 1653, which is up 21 from Friday. As we'd like to remind all of our residents, if you are elderly or a person with an underlying condition, with an example being diabetes, pulmonary or heart conditions, please only go out if you have to. If you're exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19, please do not go to work. Please do not send your child to school. If your symptoms continue, please call your primary doctor and please get tested. As we ask, please do a welfare check on those elderly that you do know. Just give them a call. I'm sure they would appreciate it. And also, if there's any concerns, you can help them if they do need help. Also, we ask our residents to continue with wearing their masks, 6-foot social distancing, and hand hygiene. All these are trying to help us as we're still in the second wave of this coronavirus pandemic. Concerning the vaccines, as Dr. Levin said here in New Milford, the numbers from last week, and I'll be getting more updates on, I believe, on Thursday. So far, our total residents, as we know in New Milford, is at 26,805. The first doses were 2,191, which is 8.2%. And that's for our age 75 and older population, which we say is approximately 1,498. Total first doses have been 754, which is a 50.3% average. We've had over 3,400 seniors that have filled out their pre-application, so we can't thank them enough for that. And our senior center, in combination with our IT department and with our health department and some of our volunteer staff, are currently putting those pre-applications in now that the governor has allowed for 65 and older. So those that are in that segment will also, once they're pre-applied, will be sent an email from the CDC to apply. We have that up on the website, how to do that. We're also going to push that on our social sites once again. Town plans also with Lisa Morse, our health director, going to be health director in a few days because Mike's retirement. She's currently working on building out our infrastructure for the town to do its own vaccines as well. We've also partnered with Nuvance and with Dr. K at the hospital. He's our town doctor, so to speak. And we can't thank him enough for doing that, and Nuvance for partnering with us. I'll have more information for the council by the end of the week as far as Lisa and her update on us doing our own vaccinations as well. We're also going to be partnering with the VNA as we have. We've had one clinic with them where we did, I believe, 100 or almost 200 doses. We're having another one this week, which is another clinic. And from what I understand, we're going to get at least 100 doses there as well. And I'll update the council as we move forward on that. We also had last week a coronavirus testing at Pettibone, and that was quite successful. And we're going to continue to partner with the state to continue to get those PCR tests as much as we can with the state. And as everyone is aware, the state as well as the nation, we do not have enough vaccines. So because of that, we're doing that in phases. We just ask everybody to be as patient as they possibly can as we continue to ask for more vaccine as well as everyone else. And I know Governor Lamont has asked the federal government for more vaccine as well. From what we're being told, the manufacturers are continuing to supply as much as they can and more. And as Mary Jane had said, Johnson & Johnson, that's going to be coming online. So what we're being told from the Department of Health is that in March, we should be able to see a little bit more vaccine volume and availability. And I will keep the council updated on that. Also, a couple quick school updates. First from Interim Superintendent Alicia DeCorpo for tomorrow. Because of the snow that's anticipated, all classes will be remote learning. So there'll be no in-learning classes. They'll all be remote, and that's due to the snow. Also, in partnership with the town, we're currently doing the following initiatives. So the first is a energy savings plan that the council and the Board of Finance both agreed unanimously to do. Well, we're almost at 65% completion. And what that means is it gives the town council, Board of Finance, and the Board of Ed an analysis on the opportunities to use new technology to save money. And we use that money to buy that new technology and infrastructure. So there'd be no increase to the taxpayer. So I'm hoping to have at our next town council meeting an update by Jack Healy here, and we'll do an update on that for the council. And then I know the Board of Ed will be talking about that as well. The New Milford High School roof project update. So because we're going to be getting state reimbursement funding, they had asked for an abbreviated state or town enrollment study. And kind of piggybacking on that, we awarded the enrollment study to SLR, which is formerly Malone and McBroom, and they're doing that abbreviated study for us so that we can then submit that final for approval with the state. So that'll be coming on, and we're looking at, in partnership with the Municipal Building Committee, we're looking at a summer project for the New Milford High School roof. Also, the Sarah Noble oil tanks, the quotes came in a little bit over budget. So the Municipal Building Committee, along with Kevin Moret and Jack Healy, are looking at some additional options for that. And I'll provide an update to the council at the next meeting with that. With the New Milford tennis courts, the Town Council and Board of Finance approved the recommendation for taking surplus funds for the tennis courts. The contractor is going to be looking at those courts in the spring. Spoke with Keith Lipinski, and he was saying that with the new availability for some outdoor sports, they're going to be using these courts in the spring. So we're looking to do these refurbishings in the summer. I'll have more updates as that goes further on. Again, we talked about the 10-year enrollment study that the town helped facilitate with the Board of Education. Alicia and her team approved SLR as the enrollment study awardee, and they'll be getting to work on that, and I'll provide updates as I get them as well. With the surplus funds, we also were able to provide athletic gear, and Keith Lipinski said that's being very well received, and also the new band uniforms as well. And I'll be providing updates when those come in as well. Concerning library construction, we continue with that $8.5 million project. Katie and myself meet with the team each Thursday to continue to drive home that we want this project on time and on budget. And currently they're continuing to put up steel, continuing to work on part of the Goodman House, and we'll provide updates as they move forward as well. Also, we're very excited that we're going to be receiving in waves the 5 DPW trucks that we had ordered last year. And for those that remembered, we were able to get 3 of those at a reduced rate because of the EPA grant that we received. So thank you to Jack Healy and Tammy Reardon for that. And I'll be providing pictures to the council when we get those. And those are much needed, as some of our older snow plows have a lot of wear and tear on them. And these will be more efficient. It'll save us gas, mileage, and be a better return on investment for us. Also, our New Milford Police Patrol cars, 3 of them are in, and they're just getting decaled. They'll be on the road shortly. I was talking to Chief Ceruto, and again, we'll send pictures to the council when those come in as well. Also, some things that we spoke about a little bit at the last town council meeting. I know Councilman Lawson had asked me to fill him in when we talked with the ambulance, especially concerning their costs for next year. So in speaking with the New Milford ambulance, when we're going into looking at this year's budget, they will be requesting additional funding. Due to the fact of COVID, we don't have really volunteers on the ambulance bus. So we've already, as we know, we've already paid an additional amount of money to have 1 additional crew. Next year, the New Milford ambulance is going to be requesting not only that crew, but an additional crew. And as we know, that's 24/7, 365.
Yep.
So the approximate cost to that will be about $500,000. And we will see, see that, absolutely. And we will see that pressure when we look at the budget in the next couple of weeks. But I wanted to just inform you that when I talked to him that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Also, for us to consider too is with the police accountability bill. Part of that is they are mandating body cameras and car cams. So you will see that in the budget, a request that will be coming from the police department of $205,000. And that's for the body cams and for the car cams. And I know the chief will be discussing that more when we get into budget, but I wanted you to be aware that that's going to be a cost driver as well.
Point of clarification, please.
Yes, sir.
Am I interpreting this as an unfunded mandate?
We don't know yet. Part of them, they're in legislative. We're hearing from some that they're going to give us somewhat of a reimbursement, anywhere from 10 to 25%. And then from others, we're hearing that we probably may not see anything. So it's going to, it's kind of up in the air right now.
Right. Okay. Just for budgetary reasons, but we can't budget for a maybe. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Also, I'd like to, we talked about this in December, is the town's real efforts on really creating awareness when it comes to domestic violence, especially during this COVID time. And domestic violence happens to 1 in every 4 women and 1 in every 10 men. And they call it IPV, which is intimate partner violence, and it can take various forms. It can be physical, emotional, sexual, or psychological. It can happen to people of all races, cultures, gender, sexual orientations, socioeconomic classes, and religious experiences. However, such a violence has a disproportionate effect on communities of color and communities in need. It also creates economic instability, unsafe housing, neighborhood violence, and a lack of safe and stable childcare. So I've asked the Women's Center to help us develop more awareness. I've also asked Megan Nicole to be our special liaison, and we'll be coming up with kind of our beginnings of our awareness program starting next at our next town council meeting. But I think it's very much, I think, public that we as a council need to take a stand on domestic violence, and there should be absolutely no tolerance for that at all. It affects too many people, too many lives, and it's absolutely wrong. So I'll be bringing it to the council at our next meeting to address that and kind of our program. And I want to thank Megan for helping us out and moving forward with this. Also, kind of going back to the budget process, we're kind of finalizing that. I attended all the Board of Education meetings that they had for their deliberations. And we're going to continue to button down the town side. And then that will go to you, the town council. And that will go for the budget hearings and then budget deliberations. And as we all know, and those in the public that may be listening tonight for the first time, after that, it then goes to the Board of Finance where they look at it and make any adjustments. And then it goes to the taxpayer. I've asked State Representative Buckby and State Senator Minor to please advocate on our behalf for the public to be able to vote on the budget. We're able to have a presidential election. I absolutely think we need to have a vote on the budget. The people overwhelmingly last year told us that's what they wanted. And again, I'm asking our state representatives to please help us so that that can happen. Lastly, I'd like to say that February marks Black History Month, where we celebrate and honor the history and achievements of Black Americans. A special thanks goes to the Peagler and Heacock families of New Milford. 5 of the Peagler brothers enlisted in the U.S. military. Owen Peagler became a PhD and the first African-American teacher in New Milford. Reverend Heacock had 4 sons and a daughter. Donald became a doctor. Stephen became a reverend. Hillman and Edward were business owners, and daughter Lucille became a New Milford High School and Howard University teacher. So thank you to two of our founding families here in New Milford. Also, I'd like to thank our DPW team for their continued outstanding work when it comes to snow removal. Also, our Park and Rec team. They're going to be out again tomorrow, battling the same weather, so we can't thank them enough. And as always, we can't thank our first responders, our police, fire, ambulance, our doctors, our loved ones that take care of our elderly CNAs, also our teachers, our paraeducators, our administrators, our lunch staff, our facilities on both the town and the Board of Ed side, all for their work in really helping us through this pandemic. So I can't thank them enough. And that's all I have, Katie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Move on to item 8. I'd like to move to approve funding for phase 3 of the Riverfront project, which is a refurbishment of the walking and biking trails through Sega Meadow Park. It's a 1.6 mile trail from Boardman Bridge to River Road. The projected cost would be $51,480, proposed to be taken from the Waste Management Fund or any other fund as the finance director deems appropriate.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Chris?
I was just wondering, will this increase the maintenance costs of Parks and Rec on an annual basis, and what the lifetime of this trail might be before it have to be resurfaced again?
Mike, can you unmute Dan Calhoun for us, please?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Chris, that's a good question. No, it should not increase the maintenance cost. It actually might bring it down a little bit. We've been already maintaining that for the last 10 years. That's when we first put the road in. We are getting an incredible lot of use in that park, whether it be a hiker or bikers or all kinds of activities. So I think it's a great thing. So any other questions?
Yeah, how long will it last, do you think, before it needs to be resurfaced?
Well, this one lasted about 10 years, so I estimate probably about the same time. It's processed gravel. So eventually it washes away. We try to keep the trail updated and York raked and that type of thing.
Oh, okay, so this isn't a pavement, it's resurfacing with gravel again. Gotcha,
Correct.
okay. Gotcha, okay, no, it's a great trail. And like you said, gets a lot of use, so I'm fully supportive of it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Dave?
Yeah, well, actually, this is for both of them. Are these projects going out to bid, or are they being done in-house? What's the process here?
Yes, they're going to have to, because of the price tag on them, they're going to have to go out to bid. The only portion that would be done in-house is the paving portion. DPW department has said if we pay for the materials, they will pave it for us. That's the front entrance drive at Sega on Boardman Road.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Item 8B, move to approve the construction of a permanent cricket pitch and bowling cave with practice pitch at Clatter Valley Park. The cost would be $25,000 to be taken from the Waste Management Fund or any fund as the finance director deems appropriate.
Second.
Thank you. As you can see in your packet that you have, is that the New Milford Cricket Club is also going to be doing fundraising as well to help with this project. And one of the things Dan can talk about as well is a couple of years ago, we were approached by the Cricket Club and one of the regional associations to do an actual regional cricket tournament, which would bring a tremendous amount of people into town once it's COVID compliant. And they would have multi-day games and would bring people throughout the area. So I think it'd be a tremendous economic benefit. Also help our current cricket club and bring new people into town that may never have experienced New Milford before. Chris?
I don't know if anybody could answer this question. What is a bowling cave? I understand what a cricket pitch is and a practice pitch. What the heck is a bowling cave? Anybody?
Can I answer that?
Please.
Okay, it was actually, I believe it was a typo on the agenda. It's batting cage, like a
Right.
baseball batting cage.
Ah, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
No, I think it's a great addition to the town. It's something else that can differentiate us from other towns. And I've never played cricket. I've watched it a little bit here and there, and I look forward to watching
Perhaps
this.
we can have some council cricket games.
Mike?
Good luck.
Yeah, is it possible with the money left over from this year that we can use that money instead, rather than take it out of waste management?
Mike,
Or
we don't
don't
know
know
at all what, especially during COVID, if we are going to have any somewhat of a surplus or not. That's kind of an in given.
Yep.
And by doing it this way with waste management, that Dan and his team can start right away planning, putting it out to bid so that we can get the best price for a spring construction.
Got it. All in favor? Yep.
Katie, do you want to change your motion to batting cave versus bowling cave?
Yes, yes. Okay, yes. Please make note of the typographical change, and it is a cricket pitch and batting cave.
Cage.
Cage, not cave.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't change when I wrote it down. Excuse me, cage. Although I like
Any,
the idea of the cage.
any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Okay, item 9, we're going to move into executive session with Attorney Randy DeBella invited along.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
So we'll be put in the breakout room, and Walter,
can you put
I
us in the
hope you know how
breakout
to
room,
get back.
please?
Yep. All right. So Pete, Randy. All right, and then Tom. Okay. So open the room. You guys should have your invitations. Katie, you'll have to step down as host to either co-host or something like that to get in.
I'm sorry, where am I? You want me to change where I am? Oh, I didn't know I was still there.
The actual host can't actually get into breakout rooms.
Well, what would you like me to make? I don't see.
You could make yourself a co-host. Or assign Ken the host. Or something. You've muted yourself, Katie.
Can make host. Okay. How's that?
All right. Sure.
Thank you.
You should now be
No, I'm still here.
yeah.
Are you there, Mike?
Yeah. I'm just put unassigned. Where's Katie? There she is. That one. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. So folks, town council has gone into executive session. There are no other items on the agenda. I won't say that that means that they will come back. They will report on executive session. And then since there are no other items on the agenda, unless they decide to add items to the agenda, they will adjourn the meeting. So you guys are welcome to hang out and wait for them to come out of executive session. I can't tell you how long they're going to be in there. This could be 30 seconds. This could be 30 minutes. So I will get up a notification just to let people know that everything is, that the town council is in executive session. And then if you guys can just bear with me, I'll get some music that won't get us in copyright trouble, so that you guys can know that the stream is still running and hasn't frozen up. So you guys just have to bear with me. Let's do some Bach. All right, Greg, I should have sent you, I'm going to ask Greg Osipov to unmute. Greg, I should have sent you an invitation to the breakout room, which is in session right now. They've asked that you please join. Greg, did you get that invitation? Okay, awesome.
Okay. Is everybody back?
Some are coming on now.
Let's see if we get Walter.
All he had to do was press the pound button. Uh-oh. I don't know, Mike, if it worked.
Well,
We'll have to practice it. I can practice it with him. Anyway, motion to return to regular session, leaving executive session where there were no motions made nor votes were taken.
Second.
Okay,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
okay,
Any abstentions? Thank you.
all right. So I'd like to make a motion that we move
I think,
$120,000.
Kay, we have to add to the agenda.
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry, I forgot. Motion to add item to the agenda.
Second.
Okay, Katie, for discussion, what will we be adding to the agenda?
Is everybody in agreement with adding the motion item?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to add that item and that then make the motion that I'd like to have us move $120,000 to other legal from an account as deemed appropriate by the Director of Finance.
I see Stephanie has her hand raised. I don't know if it's
I
germane to
can't
this.
see
or
anything
not.
because somebody put us, Mike Sinello, can you?
Walter, yeah, can you unmute Stephanie?
Hold on.
Katie, I think it's 130.
Oh, I thought it was 120.
It was 120.
I thought it was 122.
Hold on, Stephanie.
So,
Right,
did the
Mike came
motion-
back.
Did
Okay.
the motion to suspend the rules pass?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Did we have a second?
Chris,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Right.
other, any discussion on the motion?
Yeah.
No.
Dave?
Yes. Again, I was gonna ask Mr. Osapo, does he have anything in mind from where this will be moved, transferred from?
Yes, I'm considering the unemployment compensation account.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's just cleaner that way. So thank you very much.
Yep,
I
sure.
see Walter is back. Welcome back, Walter.
We can adjourn.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We hear
Hey,
you, Walter.
Walter.
So we have a motion and a second.
what was the motion to suspend the rules to add the 120K and then there's a motion? for the
Okay,
120K?
there was a motion to suspend the rules to add item number 10.
Okay,
Passed, and then the item number 10 was my motion to move $120,000 to other legal from an account or accounts as deemed appropriate by the Director of Finance.
all right, thank you.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, everyone.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Mayor.
second.
Before you all bolt, I just want to say something. If I sent a message to Jennifer, the young lady. If you look at the top of your screen where you see the red button that says live, that Otter is doing this, you click on that. And you can see that it says, if the little drop down says view stream, you just click on that. You'll go to another page. You can still hear and see everything in our meeting. It takes you right to Otter where you don't have to pay, sign up. You can see this transcript going on. You probably, if you look there now,
You
you'll
can see it right now.
Yeah,
Yep.
my words going up there. So that's how easy it is. I sent her a message on Facebook to let her know, but if anybody, Joe, I think you're still on there. I know she lives near you. If you would just, you could explain that to her. It's really simple to do it from Zoom, but you can go to Otter's website and I think it's otter.ai and they will explain everything for anybody who needs to know. It's a simple,
Saw it typing as you were speaking, Katie.
It's coming out perfect.
yeah, that's how it works. So,
And it mutes out the dog barks in the background.
Yeah.
oh, Mike.
Yeah, no riff raff.
So I
right.
just wanted to let you all know in case as council people, somebody asks you that, you know, they heard about it. It's very easy. Whoop, there we go.
Yep. Great.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Katie.
Katie.
Hey,
And we
yes.
have a
Everybody.
motion to adjourn and a second. All those in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
everybody.
Have a good night.
Adios.
Thank you.
Adios.
Take care, everybody.